I'm Bob Taylor, president of the Dogwish. This is Martina Sakurai. This is Kevin. 3 years ago, Martina and her husband Russ came to our facility looking for a canine for Kevin and had no idea what they were going to find. At first, Kevin didn't care about the dogs. He was scared and he wasn't really interested in being around them. And then all of a sudden he saw Rocco. And when Kevin saw Rocco, everything changed. They've had Rocco now for how long?
3 years.
3 years. What are some of the things that Rocco does for you guys?
Well, Rocco is able to calm Kevin down when nobody else can, even though we have a lot of therapy. If he is having a tantrum, I literally just hook Kevin up to Rocco and we go for a walk and he immediately calms down. Rocco has been able to help us go out into the community before we couldn't go shopping or to any restaurants or anything, because Kevin was very hyperactive and couldn't wait for his food, or he became overstimulated because of the stores and everything that's going around. And once we got Rocco, I took him out the first day. I didn't know what to expect. I just figured, okay, let's go. And it was a miracle. Kevin listened to me. He was holding on to Rocco with just this little red leash that we have. And when I said stop, he stopped. When I said, Kevin, stay here with me, he stayed. When I said, oh, can you wait or come over here, he listened. And it was all because he felt confident because he had his dog there. And it was just like a miracle. And everything from then on has been the same. I mean, we can go everywhere with Rocco and Kevin will be okay. We can sit at a restaurant for 2 hours and Kevin will not have any behaviors whatsoever. And he will actually just look underneath the table to see if Rocco's there, and just to make sure, and then he's fine. I mean, he's done so much. Kevin's talking more now because of Rocco. Before, he couldn't learn people's names. It would take a very, very long time, many months, to learn his teachers' names and family members' names. And once we got Rocco, it was like that. He just knew Rocco. And he also made his first attempt to speak with us by taking Rocco's leash and taking it over to his father. And Russ said, well, I need my shoes. And Kevin actually went over to get his dad's shoes and took it to him. And that was huge because he had never done that before. Okay. So that's just a little bit of what Rocco has done for us. And it's been really, really wonderful.
Is that right, Kevin?
What Kevin?
Rocco.
Yeah, who's your dog?
One of the things that Martina began to notice was that if Kevin was feeling something, Rocco would tune in and feel the same thing. Yes, to a very, very, I mean, high level, very intensely. One time we were at a restaurant, and we were actually with you, remember? Yeah. We were with Bob, and we were at a restaurant, and I guess Kevin wasn't feeling well, but I couldn't pick up on it. I didn't know what was wrong, and I could tell by just looking at Rocco and how sad his eyes were. Rocco came up from underneath the table and started to whine. Yeah, yeah. So then I took Kevin out with Rocco, and sure enough, Kevin had a very bad stomach ache and he had to have diarrhea, and Rocco was there telling me, we need to go, we need to get out of here, we need to go home, because Kevin wasn't feeling good. And I remember we were waiting for the others. Bob was still in the restaurant, and so we were in the van just waiting, and Kevin was in his seat and Rocco was in the seat next to Kevin, and the windows were rolled down, and I remember people passing by saying, that is the saddest looking dog I've ever seen. And it was because he was feeling Kevin, and he hurt as much as Kevin did. And because of that, now we're more in tune to what Kevin is feeling, because I can look into Rocco's eyes and know if it's good or bad, or if Kevin is scared. We know all these things because Kevin can't tell us himself, but Rocco does. So when I met Bob, it was just kind of it was a coincidence, but a good coincidence, and we were looking for a canine for Kevin at the time, and a lot of the people that train dogs for people with autism were out of the state, and so we were finding it very hard to find someone that could train a dog for Kevin, and at the same time we didn't know what to expect from a dog that is trained for autism. We didn't know. We just felt we have one child, maybe we'll have a dog, and then, you know, at least he won't be
alone, and maybe it'll bring him some happiness. And by chance I met Bob at one of the therapies that Kevin was going to at the time, and from there I got his information and called him a few days later, and we spoke on the phone, and I didn't know what to expect, and he just understood everything. He understood everything, all of my worries about Kevin, everything that I was stressing out about, how I felt that I needed help. And my husband's always working, so I'm always here doing everything that I can with Kevin and dealing with the tantrums and whatnot. And he understood all of it because he's been dealing with people with disabilities for many, many years. And so a few weeks later, my husband and of course Kevin and we went up to Bob's, and we went to the Dogwish Foundation, and we went to the facility, and we were there for about 4 or 5 hours, and our lives really changed from then on. We found Rocco. Like Bob said earlier, Kevin didn't really like any of the dogs. They were all barking. It was sensory overload, but something happened when we got to Rocco's kennel that Rocco was excited and Kevin just started laughing, and it was just a miracle. And we went into Bob's office, and we were there, and right then and there Rocco started to work with Kevin. We had been there for 4 hours already, so it was a very long time, and he wanted to get out the front door, and Rocco ran to the door and just kind of herded him out of there and totally diverted Kevin's attention away from getting out. And Rocco would just scan and make sure Kevin was okay, and we're like, we can't leave without this dog, and we didn't know we were going to have this dog, but Bob says, there you go, you can have him, he's ready to go. So our life really changed then, and we love Bob dearly for that. And of course with our other dog, Kuma and Socrates, we have been extremely blessed to have all these canines that help us in so many ways. And Bob Taylor is a really good friend of mine now. We work closely together. I'm also trained under him. I'm a certified Dogwish trainer as well, and it's really made a huge difference in our lives. And Kevin loves Bob just as much as I do and the dogs do. So Dogwish.org has been a blessing to our family, and I'm very happy to be part of it.
Hi.
3.5.
I'm Bob Taylor. I'm here with Dean and Eliza and Ollie and Helen. And Helen is their service dog. And they acquired Helen about 4 months ago. And Ollie and Helen have become good friends, and they play together in the home, and they have a workshop in their garage in their backyard. And Helen has really become Ollie's dog.
Give her a pat.
Helen is doing some things that are very unique and really wonderful. Eliza wrote me about a month and a half ago, and maybe you would like to share.
Oliver was in the living room here, and I was in the kitchen. Helen was in the kitchen with me, and we just finished lunch, and there was no indication that Ollie was unhappy or anything. And the next thing I look up, and Helen is completely alert and like staring at the living room and about the location where Ollie would have been in the living room. And within 20 seconds, Oliver started screaming and just having a little meltdown fit. And Helen, actually, and there she goes, she's alerting right now to Ollie in the kitchen. Helen had given me that forewarning that Ollie was about to have a meltdown. She could sense it. So that was a 20-second lead time, which is a lot in this world. So.